When someone disrespects you, the first instinct that rises inside of you is to fight back, to defend yourself, to say something sharp that will cut them as deeply as their words tried to cut you. But let me tell you something that life and the word have taught me. Your first response determines whether you rise above the insult or fall into the trap. When a rude person speaks to you, your silence and your pause are not signs of weakness. They are signs of power. That moment where you inhale, hold your tongue, and let the heat in your chest settle is where victory begins. Most people live reactionary lives. Someone spits venom and they spit it back. Someone throws an insult and they throw two in return. But when you live like that, the rude person has already won. They have pulled you down into the mud where they dwell. But when you pause, when you refuse to let that first impulse own you, you keep your dignity intact and you take away their control. You see, your emotions are like a wild horse. They will run off with you if you let them. That pause, that moment of silence, is like grabbing the reins and saying, "No, I will not let this moment define me." In that pause, your mind clears. You can see the situation for what it really is. You realize that rudeness is rarely about you. It is a mirror of the other person's pain, insecurity, or bitterness. They are trying to hand you their poison, and if you drink it in anger, you lose. But if you stop, if you take a breath, you can let that poison fall to the ground without ever touching your soul. I have learned that silence in the face of disrespect is a language all its own. It speaks of maturity. It speaks of strength. It speaks of someone who is not easily shaken. Think about the last time someone really tried to provoke you. Maybe it was at work. Maybe it was in your family. Maybe it was a stranger on the street. If you had met their fire with fire, it would have burned hotter and left you exhausted. But the next time, I want you to imagine yourself as a wall of calm water. Fire cannot live in water. Anger cannot live in calm. When you pause before you respond, you create space for wisdom to enter, and wisdom will always give you the upper hand over impulse. The rude person expects a reaction. They are prepared for a fight. They want to drag you into their storm. But if you stand still in that storm, if you refuse to let the wind push you over, they will begin to feel small in their own noise. Nothing makes a rude person more uncomfortable than the silence of someone who refuses to play their game. Your pause is your armor. It is the shield that stops their words from piercing your heart. And as you stand there steady, your silence speaks volumes. You cannot shake me. I know who I am. That pause is also your chance to choose your words carefully. Because once words leave your mouth, they cannot return. A moment of patience can prevent a lifetime of regret. Many people have destroyed relationships, careers, and peace of mind because they let anger speak for them. But when you pause, when you let that first rush of emotion pass, you respond from a place of strength rather than weakness. That is where respect for yourself is born. Not in shouting, not in arguing, but in restraint. If you want to make a rude person regret disrespecting you, start here, with silence, with control, with a pause that feels like a mountain unmoved by the storm. They will hear their own voice echoing in that quiet space and realize their words have only made them small. And when you finally choose to respond, your words will carry the weight of a person who cannot be broken, because calmness is the loudest form of strength. If you want, I can now expand key point 2 into the next 800-word segment with the same powerful flow for your speech. Do you want me to continue? Responding to disrespect with dignity is one of the greatest tests of character a person can ever face. When someone throws rudeness at you, every part of your flesh wants to lash out, to match their tone, to show them that you can fight fire with fire. But the truth is, fire against fire only creates ashes. Dignity is when you choose to respond with calm strength instead of emotional weakness. It is the art of saying, "I know my value and I refuse to let your behavior pull me down." The power of dignity lies in its unexpectedness. Rude people thrive on reactions. They survive on the energy you give them when you lose your temper. They want to see you flinch. They want to see their words land. But when you respond with class, when your voice is steady and your face is unshaken, it throws them off balance. It is like holding up a mirror to their behavior without even raising your voice. Your calmness exposes their immaturity louder than any argument could. I want you to picture this. Someone tries to humiliate you, tries to talk down to you, tries to make you feel small. Instead of snapping back, you look them in the eye and you speak with strength but not anger. You say something like, "I refuse to lower my standards to meet your behavior." Or maybe you choose to simply say, "I hope your day gets better." These words are not an attack. They are a reminder that you cannot be dragged into the gutter where they dwell. That is the voice of dignity. Dignity is not weakness, it is controlled strength. Anyone can yell. Anyone can curse. Anyone can spit venom when they are hurt. But it takes a person of true self-control to remain centered when provoked. And here is the secret: the moment you respond with dignity, you not only protect your own peace, but you plant a seed of regret in the heart of the rude person. Because later, when the heat of the moment passes, they will remember your calmness. They will hear their own harsh words in their memory and compare them to your composure. That comparison will sting deeper than any insult you could have thrown back. People remember dignity. They remember class. They remember the one who kept their composure when everyone else would have exploded. You rise in their eyes, and not because you humbled yourself, but because you refused to play their game. This is how you maintain control over your life and over your emotions. Dignity is your armor. It keeps you from being wounded by words meant to pierce your heart. Sometimes, the best way to respond with dignity is to slow your voice, to lower your tone, to let your words carry weight rather than heat. When a rude person hears a calm, controlled response, it unsettles them more than shouting ever could. They are expecting a storm, and you give them a still ocean instead. That stillness forces them to confront themselves. It forces them to realize that their behavior has not touched you, that their attempt to disrupt your spirit has failed. I have learned that dignity always wins in the long run. It may feel satisfying to shout back in the moment, to meet disrespect with more disrespect, but later it leaves a bitter aftertaste. Dignity leaves no regret. Dignity allows you to walk away with your head high, knowing you never compromised who you are for the sake of someone who doesn't even respect themselves enough to act with kindness. And if your response is remembered, it will be remembered as strength, not weakness. When you carry yourself with dignity in the face of rudeness, you are teaching the world how to treat you. You are declaring, without yelling, that your peace is priceless, your character is unshakable, and your standards are non-negotiable. That is how you make someone regret disrespecting you, by showing them that their words are powerless against someone who refuses to be lowered. True power is not in the noise of your anger, but in the silence and calm of your strength. If you want, I can now expand key point 3 into the next 800-word segment with the same seamless and powerful delivery for your speech. Do you want me to continue? There is a powerful wisdom in reflecting a rude person's behavior back to them, not in anger or vengeance, but in calm clarity. When someone disrespects you, their words are often rooted in pain, bitterness, or brokenness. They lash out not because of who you are, but because of what they carry inside. And sometimes, the most effective way to make them see the weight of their actions is to hold up a mirror with your words. Gently, firmly, without cruelty, but with undeniable truth. Imagine this: someone insults you harshly, expecting you to respond with anger or hurt. Instead, you meet them with a simple statement, something like, "I hope your day gets better," or "May peace find its way to you." These words don't attack or provoke, they reveal a higher path. They expose the emptiness of the insult because they come from a place of grace. In that moment, you show that their rudeness does not define you or disturb your peace. You demonstrate a strength so quiet and unshakable that it unsettles the one who sought to wound you. Words have power, both to heal and to hurt. When you respond to rudeness by holding up their behavior without judgment, but with quiet acknowledgement, you force the rude person to confront themselves. It's like looking into a mirror where their own reflection is no longer hidden behind anger and noise. Your calm, measured words reflect back the weight of their disrespect and leave them alone with their conscience. They start to question their motives, their bitterness, and even their own self-worth. This is not about stooping to their level or matching their venom with your own. No, it is about rising above, about choosing a response that reveals character instead of weakness. You become the person who refuses to be dragged into the mud because you understand that anger breeds only more anger, but peace breeds strength. By holding up a mirror with your words, you say, "I see your pain, but I will not be a part of it." And that is a message far more powerful than any shouted comeback. Think about the people who have influenced you the most. The leaders, the mentors, the figures of strength in your life. What separated them wasn't their ability to fight back, but their ability to respond with wisdom. When someone insulted them, they didn't retaliate with hate. They responded with measured grace that demanded respect. That grace made the rude person feel small, not because of words that cut, but because of the absence of words that lowered themselves to the fight. Sometimes, the most devastating response to disrespect is kindness cloaked in honesty. When you say, "I'll pray for your peace," or "I hope you find what you're really searching for," you expose the futility of their behavior. You turn their rude words into questions they cannot easily answer. Are they angry because they are hurting? Are they hurting because they feel lost? Your words invite them to reflect, even if silently, on their own brokenness. The beauty of this response is that it protects your own heart. You are not swallowing poison. You are choosing not to drink it at all. You are breaking the cycle of negativity and refusing to be a participant in the destruction. The rude person wanted to pull you down, but instead, you remain on higher ground where peace reigns. This peace is your shield, and your words are the gentle touch that keeps the shield firm. Reflecting rudeness with measured words does more than just make the rude person regret their behavior. It makes you a beacon of strength. It shows others watching that respect is earned not through shouting louder, but through standing taller. Taller in character, taller in grace. Your calm words carry more weight than their insults ever could, because they come from a place of certainty, not insecurity. In life, there will always be people who try to bring you down with their harsh words, their sharp tongues, their disrespect. But remember, their words only have the power you give them. When you respond by holding a mirror up gently, with quiet dignity, you reveal their true nature without sinking to their level. You become the person who refuses to be defined by rudeness, who instead reflects the light of grace back into the darkness. Let your words be the reflection that makes them pause, the gentle truth that leaves them with no room to argue, and the calm that silences their storm. It is in this quiet power that you find the victory over disrespect, and it is here that they will regret the day they ever tried to disrespect you. If you would like, I can continue by expanding key point 4 into the next 800-word segment in the same style and tone. Would you like me to proceed? There is a strength in walking away, a strength so profound that it is often misunderstood or overlooked. When someone disrespects you, when they throw words like stones, your first impulse may be to strike back, to stand your ground at all costs. But true strength is sometimes found in the courage to step back, to protect your spirit by removing yourself from the battlefield. Walking away is not surrender. It is a powerful declaration that you will not allow their disrespect to become your burden. Consider this: a rude person thrives on your reaction. They want to see you stumble, to hear your voice raise in anger, to witness your pain. Their disrespect feeds on your energy and your emotional response. But when you turn and walk away without a word, without anger, you deny them that victory. You leave them alone with their bitterness, their harsh words echoing in the silence you leave behind. This silence is heavier than any argument, louder than any shout. It is a quiet power that says, "I refuse to be part of this." A walking away protects your energy in ways that words cannot. Words, even spoken with dignity or calm, require effort. They invite engagement. But walking away is a refusal to engage with negativity on their terms. It is a self-respecting boundary that guards your peace. When you walk away, you choose yourself. You choose to preserve your heart, your mind, and your spirit from damage that could linger long after the moment has passed. There is a story of many who tried to stand toe-to-toe with rudeness only to find themselves dragged into a spiral of bitterness and regret. But those who know the power of stepping back walk tall after the storm passes. They do not carry the weight of the rude person's words. Instead, they carry the lightness of someone who knows their worth and refuses to let others define it. Walking away is an act of faith, a faith that peace and dignity are more valuable than winning a verbal battle. Some may say walking away is cowardice, that it's running from confrontation. But let me assure you, it takes more courage to walk away than to stay and fight. It takes a mountain of inner strength to choose silence over noise, calm over chaos. When you walk away from disrespect, you are not denying your worth. You are affirming it. You are saying, I deserve better than this. I deserve peace, and I will protect it. And what happens to the rude person left behind? They are often the ones who feel small and regretful. Why? Because they realize that their words failed to break you. They wanted a fight, and instead, they found an absence, a quiet dignity that mocks their bitterness. Their regret grows in the silence that follows your exit, because it is in that silence that they hear their own harshness most clearly. Walking away also gives you time to reflect and respond wisely if you choose to engage later. It's a pause that keeps you from saying things you'll regret, from adding fuel to a fire that burns both sides. It is an act of preservation, giving you the chance to regain your composure, to let the storm pass, and to decide your next move from a place of strength rather than reaction. This is how peace becomes your loudest message. You don't have to shout to be heard. You don't have to argue to prove your worth. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is the one you make with your feet. The statement of walking away from disrespect and refusing to be a part of it. You carry your head high, your spirit unbroken, and your heart unburdened. In life, there will be many who try to drag you down with their rude words and disrespectful actions. But remember this, your power lies not in how loudly you can fight back, but in how wisely you can protect your peace. Walk away when you need to. Walk away to guard your dignity. Walk away to make the rude person regret the moment they disrespected you. Not because you confronted them, but because you refused to be caught in their storm. If you wish, I can now continue by expanding key point 5 in the same powerful and natural style. Would you like me to proceed? There is a power in setting boundaries, a quiet, firm strength that says, this far and no further. When someone disrespects you, it is not only your right, but your responsibility to protect yourself by making clear what you will and will not accept. Boundaries are not walls meant to isolate you. They are gates that guard your peace and preserve your dignity. When you say, I don't allow people to speak to me that way, you are not being harsh. You are being wise. You are telling the world that your respect is non-negotiable. Many people shy away from setting boundaries because they fear conflict or rejection. They worry that by standing firm, they will lose relationships or be seen as unkind. But what they don't realize is that without boundaries, disrespect becomes a habit others repeat, and peace becomes a stranger to the soul. When you fail to set limits, you teach people how to treat you, often poorly. But when you set a boundary with confidence, you change the narrative. You send a clear message that your spirit is valuable and your respect must be earned, not demanded carelessly. Setting boundaries is an act of self-love. It says, I matter enough to protect myself. It is not about controlling others. It is about controlling what you allow into your life. When someone speaks to you rudely, responding with, I don't accept being spoken to that way, is not rude. It is powerful. It removes you from the cycle of disrespect and places you firmly in a place of authority over your own life. And when you do this consistently, rude people begin to think twice before crossing your line. Their regret comes from the realization that you are not an easy target. Think about the times when you felt most disrespected. Did you ever speak up and say, no, I won't accept this? Or did you stay silent and allow the behavior to continue? There is no shame in protecting yourself. In fact, it is one of the strongest things you can do for your mental and emotional well-being. When you set boundaries, you create a space where respect can grow, both from others and from within yourself. Boundaries also teach others how to communicate with you in the future. When you say, I don't allow people to speak to me that way, you are not just shutting a door, you are opening a new one. A door to respect, understanding, and healthier interactions. People learn that if they want to be a part of your life, they must treat you with kindness and honor. If they choose not to, the loss is theirs, not yours. Your boundaries protect you from unnecessary pain and invite better relationships into your life. It's important to understand that setting boundaries doesn't have to come with anger or bitterness. It can be done with calm confidence and clarity. You don't need to shout or be confrontational. A simple, firm statement is enough. Your voice doesn't have to be loud to be heard. When you declare your limits, your spirit stands tall and your peace is secured. The rude person who once disrespected you will feel the weight of your words and the firmness of your stance. They will regret the moment they thought they could treat you lightly. Sometimes setting boundaries means saying no more than once, or even walking away if those boundaries are not respected. This is not weakness, it is strength. It shows that you value yourself more than you fear losing approval or acceptance. You understand that true respect cannot be demanded through submission, it must be cultivated through mutual honor. And when you live by this truth, you protect your heart and preserve your dignity. Remember, boundaries are a form of respect, not only for yourself but for others. They create clear expectations and prevent misunderstandings. They allow relationships to flourish on a foundation of mutual care and honor. And when you enforce your boundaries consistently, rude people begin to regret crossing lines they never should have approached. So, if you want to make a rude person regret disrespecting you, start by setting firm boundaries. Speak clearly and confidently about what you will not accept. Protect your peace as fiercely as you protect your dreams. When you do this, you don't just teach others how to treat you. You teach yourself that your worth is not dependent on the opinions or actions of others. Your worth is inherent, unshakable, and deserving of the highest respect. If you wish, I can continue by expanding key point 6 in the same seamless, powerful style. Would you like me to proceed? There is a quiet power in success and peace that no rude word can shake. When someone disrespects you, their intent is often to unsettle you, to make you question your worth, to bring you down to their level of bitterness and anger. But what they don't understand is that your greatest response is not to argue, not to retaliate, but to live in such a way that their disrespect becomes meaningless. Your peace, your success, your unshakable calm speak far louder than any words ever could. When you rise above disrespect and continue to move forward, you show the world, and especially the one who tried to wound you, that their words hold no power over your destiny. You become a living testimony that respect cannot be demanded through anger or cruelty. It is earned through character, resilience, and grace. Every step you take toward your goals, every moment you live peacefully despite the noise around you, becomes a powerful answer to those who tried to disrespect you. The rude person often regrets their disrespect most when they see that it has not stopped you. They expect you to crumble, to lose your confidence, to become bitter and angry in return. But when you remain focused on your purpose, when your peace is intact and your success continues to grow, their words become empty echoes. They will watch from the sidelines as you build the life they thought they could destroy. That regret is not because you confronted them. It is because you refused to engage and let your life speak instead. Living peacefully and succeeding in spite of disrespect is a form of strength that few understand. It takes discipline, patience, and faith in yourself. It means choosing every day to rise above the noise, to keep your heart guarded, and to hold on to your vision. It means that no matter how loud the rude voices get, you keep your eyes on the prize, your mind on your purpose, and your spirit unbroken. This kind of peace is a fortress that protects you from every attack. Think about the great leaders, the ones history remembers, not for how many battles they fought with harsh words, but for how they carried themselves with dignity through storms. Their success and peace were their loudest voices. They didn't waste energy on those who tried to bring them down. Instead, they focused on building, growing, and becoming the best version of themselves. That is the legacy you want to leave, a life so strong and so full of peace that disrespect cannot touch it. When you allow success and peace to be your response, you also inspire others. You show those around you that true power lies not in fighting back, but in rising above. You become a beacon for those who have been hurt by rude words, a living example that peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of strength in the midst of it. Your life becomes a message that no matter what others say or do, you will keep moving forward with dignity and grace. And here is the truth. Rude people often regret disrespecting you, most when they see that it did not derail you. Their regret is rooted in their failure to break your spirit, to steal your joy, or to stop your progress. You become a reminder that their words were powerless against a soul determined to thrive. Their regret is a silent acknowledgement that you are stronger, wiser, and more peaceful than they ever expected. So, the next time someone disrespects you, remember that your greatest revenge is not in their silence or in harsh words returned, but in the peace you carry and the success you build. Let your life be the loudest statement they hear. The statement that says, "I am unbreakable." When you live this way, They will not only regret disrespecting you, but they will also respect the person you have become.